That $6 can of WD-40 could prevent over $4,000 in repairs if you know the right spots to spray it. But here's the catch. Most car owners are using it in places that could destroy their car. Today we're covering 15 money-saving techniques, and I'll show you the one critical place you should never spray WD-40. Plus, there's a diagnostic trick mechanics charge $150 for that you can do yourself in seconds. Number 1. Emergency brake squealing fix that prevents $800 brake jobs. That metal-on-metal grinding sound isn't just annoying, it's your car warning you about brake bills in the hundreds or more per axle. Most drivers ignore brake squealing until it becomes grinding, but that squealing is actually brake dust and debris jamming up your caliper mechanisms, causing uneven pad wear that destroys everything. Here's where WD-40 Specialist Brake and Parts Cleaner saves you serious money. Not the original WD-40, but the specific brake cleaner formula. Jack the car and secure it on stands, remove the wheel, then spray it directly on the caliper slide pins, backing plates, and hardware. Avoid spraying pads, rotors, or ABS sensors. The cleaner dissolves brake dust buildup that causes calipers to stick and drag. When calipers can't move freely, your pads wear unevenly and overheat. The technique is precise. Spray only the non-friction components, wait 2 minutes for penetration, then wipe clean and reassemble per your manual. Brake cleaner for hardware is fine. Lubricant on the friction surfaces is not. This $8 preventative step keeps your calipers moving smoothly and prevents the pad destruction that leads to emergency brake jobs. But brake problems aren't the only expensive surprise waiting in your driveway. Number 2. Paint scratch removal technique that saves professional detailing costs. You walk out to your car and there it is, a fresh scratch running across your paint. Body shops can charge hundreds or thousands for improper treatment that forces a full repaint job. Most people panic and either ignore it or rush into expensive repairs, but here's what happens when scratches sit untreated. They collect dirt. Moisture works underneath the clear coat, and what started as surface damage becomes deep paint failure, requiring complete panel work. WD-40 reveals the truth about scratch depth before you spend a dime. Spray it directly on the scratch and wipe clean. This removes surface contaminants and temporarily fills minor scratches with penetrating oil. If the scratch disappears completely, it's only in the clear coat and fixable with compound. If it remains visible after spraying, you're looking at paint-deep damage that needs professional attention. Spray, wipe, inspect in different light angles. If it disappears, use a dedicated scratch repair kit or compound. If it stays visible, get professional help. This simple test prevents unnecessary treatments on surface scratches while identifying real damage that actually needs a repair work. But scratches aren't the only thing that can leave you stranded without warning. Number 3. Protecting electrical connectors from $1,000+ corrosion damage. Your car starts fine one day, then won't start the next. The radio cuts out randomly. Your check engine light flickers on and off for no apparent reason. Mechanics run expensive diagnostics but can't pin down the problem because these electrical gremlins come and go without warning. The real culprit is moisture creeping into electrical connectors throughout your vehicle. Water vapor penetrates wire harnesses, sensor plugs, and control module connections, creating invisible corrosion that disrupts signals between components. This silent destroyer eventually kills expensive electronic control units that can cost over $1,500 to replace. Power off the vehicle and remove the key or negative battery terminal before spraying connectors. WD-40 was originally created to displace water from nuclear weapons components, and that same water-repelling action protects your car's electronics. For sensitive electronics like ECU connectors, use WD-40 Specialist Contact Cleaner instead. It evaporates quickly and leaves no film. Standard WD-40 works for basic connectors, but can leave residue. Spray on clean, powered-off connectors to help displace moisture and reduce corrosion risk. A quick spray on a corroded plug can stop intermittent gremlins that otherwise lead to expensive diagnostics. The treatment takes 5 minutes per connector but prevents corrosion damage that destroys entire electrical systems. But electrical problems aren't the only thing that can turn dangerous without warning. Number 4. Unsticking frozen brake calipers before they seize completely. You hit the brakes and your car pulls hard to one side. That's not just annoying, it's dangerous and expensive. When brake calipers start sticking, they create uneven braking force that compromises your vehicle control and puts you at risk during emergency stops. Sticky calipers don't fix themselves. The slide pins and pivot points accumulate brake dust, road salt, and moisture that gradually restricts movement. What starts as slight sticking progresses to complete seizure, where the caliper clamps down permanently on the rotor. This constant friction generates extreme heat that warps rotors and destroys brake pads in days instead of months. Park on level ground, chalk the wheels, jack and support the car safely before removing the wheel. Never spray while the brake assembly is hot. WD-40 Specialist Penetrant breaks through this buildup on caliper slide pins and pivot mechanisms. Spray it on the pin boots, slide surfaces, and pivot points where the caliper moves. Let the penetrant soak, try to free the pin, and repeat as needed. The penetrant dissolves corrosion and frees stuck components before they seize completely. This maintenance prevents the cascade effect where seized calipers destroy rotors, requiring emergency repairs costing $600 to $1,200. But brake problems aren't the only thing that can sneak up on you. Number 5. Weather stripping protection that prevents $2,000 water damage repairs. Your door feels stiff when you open it. Water droplets appear inside your windows after rain. These aren't minor inconveniences, they're warning signs that your door seals are failing and water is finding its way inside your vehicle. Water intrusion destroys far more than just carpets. Moisture seeps into electrical components under seats and door panels, corroding wiring harnesses and control modules. Wet carpets develop mold that creates health hazards and permanent odors that kill resale value. Standard WD-40 contains petroleum distillates that break down rubber seals over time, making the problem worse. WD-40 Specialist Silicone Spray preserves rubber elasticity, while petroleum can accelerate drying and cracking. Clean the seal with a damp cloth first. Spray a light coat of silicone spray. Work the door to distribute, then wipe off excess. This treatment maintains seal flexibility and water resistance, preventing the progression from minor leaks to major interior flooding that can lead to costly interior and electrical damage up to the low thousands. But water damage isn't the only thing that leaves permanent marks on your vehicle. Number 6. Removing stubborn adhesive residue without damaging paint. You peel off that parking sticker and there it is, a sticky mess of adhesive residue that won't come off no matter how hard you scrub. Most people attack it with razor blades, harsh solvents, or aggressive scrubbing that leaves permanent scratches in the clear coat. Those scratches require professional paint correction that costs hundreds to fix. Even worse, using the wrong chemicals can actually dissolve your clear coat, creating cloudy spots that need complete panel repainting. WD-40's solvent base works here, breaking down adhesive bonds without attacking automotive paint. Test a small hidden area first, and avoid metal scrapers or harsh solvents that can scratch clear coat. Spray generously, let it soak about 10 minutes, then use a plastic scraper and a microfiber to remove residue. The penetrating action dissolves the adhesive from underneath, allowing it to peel away cleanly. Always finish with a proper wash to remove any oily residue. This soaking technique removes even old, hardened adhesive without scratching or chemical damage, preventing paint correction costs that range from $300 to $800. But adhesive problems aren't the only thing that can leave you stranded when temperatures drop. Number 7. Preventing door lock mechanisms from freezing in winter. You're standing in sub-zero temperatures, key in hand, but your door lock is completely frozen solid. You're locked out of your own car with no way to get inside, and that's just the beginning of your problems. Ice formation inside lock mechanisms doesn't just inconvenience you, it expands as it freezes, cracking delicate springs and tumblers that control the lock operation. Once those internal components break, you're looking at complete lock replacement that costs hundreds of dollars. Do this before the freeze hits. Spray locks and keyholes ahead of winter nights. WD-40 displaces moisture inside lock internals, preventing ice from forming and cracking delicate components. The treatment penetrates deep into the mechanisms, coating metal surfaces with a protective film that stops water from settling where it can freeze. Apply WD-40 to exterior door handles, trunk locks, and fuel door mechanisms too. Avoid overspray onto paint and wipe off excess. Testing a small area first is smart. This preventative treatment maintains smooth operation even in extreme cold while protecting all the metal components from frost damage. But locks aren't the only delicate components that need careful maintenance when you're working around your vehicle. Number 8. Engine bay degreasing method that won't damage sensitive components. You pop the hood on a modern car and see a maze of sensors, wiring harnesses, and plastic components packed around the engine. Most people avoid cleaning their engine bay because traditional degreasers destroy these sensitive parts, leaving you with expensive electrical failures. Heavy-duty degreasers eat through sensor housings, melt wiring insulation, and crack plastic intake components. These chemicals cause more damage than the dirt they remove, creating repair bills that exceed the cost of professional cleaning. Let the engine cool and cover sensitive electrical connectors or remove battery power where possible before spraying. WD-40 Original works differently on engine bay materials, dissolving oil and grime buildup while being generally safe around plastics and sensors when used correctly, unlike some harsher degreasers. For electronics that need a no residue option, use WD-40 Specialist Contact Cleaner instead. Spray it on dirty surfaces, let it penetrate for 5 minutes, then wipe clean with microfiber cloths. Clean engine bays dissipate heat more efficiently and make problem diagnosis easier. Oil buildup acts like insulation, trapping heat that shortens component life and causes premature failures in alternators, starters, and sensors. But heat buildup isn't the only thing that slowly chokes engine performance. Number 9. Fixing sticky throttle bodies before they require replacement. Your engine idles rough at red lights. Acceleration feels sluggish and unresponsive. The throttle seems to have a mind of its own, surging and dropping RPMs without warning. These symptoms point to carbon buildup inside your throttle body that's slowly choking your engine's performance. Carbon deposits accumulate on the throttle plate and bore walls over time, creating a sticky mess that prevents smooth airflow control. This buildup disrupts the precise air-fuel mixture your engine needs, causing performance issues that get progressively worse until the throttle plate sticks completely. WD-40 can help with light carbon cleanup on throttle bodies as a useful, safe option for basic maintenance. Remove or loosen the air intake tube to access the throttle body, spray WD-40 on the throttle plate and bore walls, manually operate the throttle to work penetration in, then wipe clean with a microfiber cloth. Avoid spraying MAF sensors or electrical connectors directly. If in doubt, use contact cleaner for sensors. This cleaning restores proper airflow and throttle response for light buildup, preventing complete throttle body replacement that costs $400 to $600. If problems persist, professional carbon cleaning may be needed. But throttle issues aren't the only thing that can leave you stranded with mysterious starting problems. Number 10. Cleaning corroded battery terminals to prevent electrical failures. Your car cranks, but won't start. The headlights dim when you turn the key. Random electrical components stop working without warning. These frustrating problems often trace back to corroded battery terminals that create resistance in your electrical system. Battery terminal corrosion spreads like cancer through your wiring harness. What starts as white, powdery buildup on terminals eventually travels down cables, destroying connections to your alternator, starter, and main fuse box. This corrosion creates voltage drops that confuse your car's computer systems and damage expensive components. Disconnect the battery before treating corroded terminals. WD-40 displaces moisture and helps loosen acid corrosion that builds up over time. Spray to displace moisture and loosen corrosion. Scrub with a wire brush, then apply a light coating before reconnecting. The penetrant dissolves corrosion buildup and protects metal surfaces from future acid damage. This treatment ensures reliable electrical connections and prevents the voltage drop issues that destroy alternators and starters, saving $200 to $500 in electrical system repairs. But electrical problems aren't the only repairs that can spiral out of control when simple maintenance gets ignored. Number 11. Loosening rusted exhaust bolts before they snap off. Exhaust work turns dangerous when rusted bolts snap off in the manifold. What should be a simple muffler replacement becomes a nightmare extraction job requiring drilling, tapping new threads, and sometimes welding repair plates onto damaged surfaces. Rusted exhaust bolts break because corrosion creates stress concentrations that weaken the metal. When you apply torque to remove them, they snap at the threads instead of backing out smoothly. This catastrophic failure transforms routine maintenance into major surgery on your exhaust system. WD-40 Specialist Penetrant uses capillary action to creep into microscopic spaces between rusted threads. Spray it generously and let it sit for at least 30 minutes before attempting removal. This waiting period is critical for deep penetration. The penetrant dissolves rust and lubricates thread surfaces, allowing bolts to turn freely instead of snapping under pressure. Work on a cooled exhaust system and be prepared to try penetrating and gradual torque. Don't apply extreme sudden force, which risks snapping bolts. This preparation prevents extraction jobs that cost $300 to $800 in labor and parts. But mechanical repairs aren't the only thing that ages your vehicle and kills its value. Number 12. Interior plastic restoration that reverses years of wear. You slide into your car and immediately notice the cracked dashboard, faded door panels, and gray plastic trim that screams this vehicle has seen better days. These worn interior plastics make your car look decades older than it actually is, killing resale value and embarrassing you every time someone gets inside. Replacing interior trim pieces costs thousands at the dealership, but WD-40 Original can condition some plastics, restoring appearance and helping prevent further drying and cracking when used correctly. For rubber seals, use WD-40 Specialist Silicone Spray instead. Petroleum products can harm rubber over time. Test on an inconspicuous area first to confirm the finish and avoid unexpected gloss or darkening. Spray it on clean plastic surfaces and work it in with a microfiber cloth. The treatment soaks into the plastic structure, reducing the brittleness that causes cracking and fading. Apply to dashboard surfaces, door panels, center console trim, and any plastic components that look worn or discolored. This restoration treatment adds hundreds of dollars to your vehicle's value by making the interior look factory fresh again. But interior components aren't the only moving parts that gradually lose their smooth operation. Number 13. Preventing window mechanisms from binding and breaking. Your window button clicks, but nothing happens, or the window drops down and refuses to come back up, leaving you exposed to weather and security risks. Most people assume the motor died, but the real problem is usually binding in the window tracks and regulator mechanisms. Window mechanisms accumulate dirt, old grease, and moisture that create friction points throughout the system. These binding points overload the motor and can cause burned-out motors or broken plastic gears, forcing the entire assembly to work harder until something fails catastrophically. WD-40 or penetrant penetrates these binding points and displaces moisture that causes corrosion, depending on severity. Disconnect the battery if the window is powered before removing the panel to avoid accidental movement. Remove the door panel to access the window regulator tracks and spray on all pivot points, slides, and cable guides. Avoid spraying rubber seals or painted surfaces. If using lubricant, use sparingly and wipe any excess. Work the window up and down manually to distribute the treatment throughout the mechanism. This lubrication prevents the binding that destroys motors and regulators, saving $250 to $500 in window repair costs. But there's one engine component where this same cleaning instinct can trigger thousands in damage. Number 14. The one place you should never spray WD-40 that could destroy your engine. Your oxygen sensor sits there covered in oil and grime, and cleaning it seems like the logical next step. But this is where good intentions create engine-destroying mistakes. Never spray WD-40 or any petroleum-based lubricant on parts that rely on friction or heat sensing, specifically brake rotors, brake pads, and oxygen sensors. Avoid MAF and throttle position sensors too. These components require precise operation that petroleum products completely disrupt. Oxygen sensors measure exhaust gases to control your air-fuel mixture through precise chemical reactions at extreme temperatures. Coding oxygen sensors interferes with their readings, leading to incorrect fuel trims that stress the catalytic converter and damage engine internals. Your engine computer responds to false signals by flooding the catalytic converter with unburned fuel or creating lean conditions that destroy pistons and valves. Use a dedicated no-residue contact cleaner for sensors and brake clean products for brake hardware. Never use lubricants on friction surfaces. This cascade of failures from contaminated sensors costs $2,000 to $5,000 in engine and emission system damage. But WD-40 does have one diagnostic superpower that can actually save you hundreds in shop fees. Number 15, secret diagnostic trick for vacuum leaks that mechanics don't want you to know. This diagnostic technique locates vacuum leaks that cause rough idle, stumbling acceleration, and intermittent check engine codes that vanish before you reach the shop. Mechanics charge $150 for smoke testing that forces visible smoke through vacuum lines to reveal leak locations using specialized equipment most car owners can't access. WD-40 creates the same diagnostic effect without expensive equipment. Start the engine at idle, keep hands and loose clothing clear of belts and fans, then spray suspected vacuum hoses, intake gaskets, and brake booster seams. A sudden idle change shows where the leak is. When you hit a leak location, WD-40 gets sucked into the system, temporarily sealing the gap and creating immediate feedback that pinpoints exact leak locations. This is a trick used by experienced mechanics to save a diagnostic fee. Unlike carb cleaner, WD-40 is less likely to ignite and is generally safer around plastics and sensors when used carefully, though you should still avoid spraying near hot exhaust components or ignition sources. This real-time diagnostic method works in tight engine compartments where other techniques fail. These preventive maintenance techniques add up to serious money when you use them correctly. These 15 techniques prove that a $6 can of WD-40 prevents over $3,000 in automotive repairs when used correctly. The difference between saving money and destroying your car comes down to knowing which components benefit from treatment and which ones suffer permanent damage from petroleum contact. Start with these 3 quick wins. Check for vacuum leaks using the diagnostic spray technique, protect electrical connectors properly, and never spray sensors or brakes. From brake maintenance to electrical protection, each technique addresses problems before they become catastrophic failures that empty your wallet. Comment with your worst WD-40 mistakes and subscribe for straightforward maintenance tips. Use the right WD-40 product for the job, follow the safety steps I called out on each hack, and when in doubt, consult a pro.